Ready. It was like a cartoon.
These are islands on the coast of California called the Guam Islands. Novel, could you push off? Okay.
First, and trained and physically healthy. So please get in touch with our martial art ministry to start learning and getting yourself on a different level physically. Because sometimes we got to be ready to fight this beast. I'm just going to keep it real. We got to prepare ourselves to fight whatever enemies approach us. You got to be ready to deal with them. It's just a reality. We are people of peace, but you ain't going to hit us in the head with no bottles and crack us over the head with bats, and we're just not going to go for it. So if you want to be one of the ones that's not going to go for it, line up with our martial arts ministry today. I think I covered all the areas. Did I miss any areas? You already know about the DVD ministry. Different titles. We're coming out with a new list. So people who got the old list, it's dead. We're coming out with a new one. So if you think you got everything on the list, I'm here to tell you have nothing. We're coming out with a new list with twice that information. We are really overloaded. We're reloading our DVD information package so we can take the people who are watching our DVDs to the next level, because we got to keep growing. So the information that's going to be on the new list is going to blow people back. So start inquiring about this new DVD list that we have and see if you can get it from one of our authorized representatives. Just because you see people with our DVDs don't mean that they're authorized representatives. Don't mean that they represent us. There's some people who may be selling the DVDs for profit. That's fine. We just want to get the information out. No problem. But people who are really authorized to distribute our information are asking nothing but for donations for the information. And by giving donations, you are helping them because they are working for the nation. They are working to raise up the consciousness of our community. So by giving those donations, you are helping them. You are showing your appreciation for their desire to get out there on a grassroots level to distribute this information, to make sure that you've got higher level information in your household. So please show those people who are authorized representatives love by giving donations to them for the distribution of the information. Just because we give it out doesn't mean that we don't accept donations. We do accept donations. Matter of fact, we break down the word donation as donation. That's the way you're going to do nation, by donating and giving to ourselves. If we can't give to ourselves, we ain't going to have nothing. We only have that which we can give to ourselves. So every time you make a donation to us, you are giving to yourself, because information gets recirculated and it comes right back to you in this powerful work. And as an uplifted self that has been touched by this powerful work, you get elevated. So please, any authorized representative that you see, show your love, make your donations. If you don't have it, because we know Uncle Sam is reaching deep into your pockets, and we don't want you to become a slave for our information. We'll give it to you. If you don't have the money or resources, don't be too prideful to take that information and watch it. Take it, receive it, watch it, and the prosperity consciousness that's in the message is going to take you to the next level. And I'm not just saying that like Creflo Dollar or some evangelistic preacher. I'm serious. There's a prosperity message in those DVDs that when you watch them, your Afrocentric Nubian Hebrew consciousness will be raised to the next level, where you will perceive wealth on an unlimited level and on a different scale that already existed. You just might not have been aware of it, but it will open up your awareness to black wealth and black prosperity. We are black wealth and we are a black prosperity movement. Not prosperity from the perspective of capitalism or white supremacy, but prosperity from an ancient Nubian, Kemetic perspective. We do acknowledge wealth from that perspective. So enough of the advertisements and commercials. Let's get down to the real lecture. I want to first start off talking about economics. Economics is very important. We have to understand what black economics is and what black economy is, and why that black economics benefits us and how it benefits us. We got to see that, because if we don't see that, then we'll stay on this individualistic white supremacist page. They push individualism. They preach you need to be on an individual level. You need to just do for yourself, by yourself, as an island. Don't come together and work together as a people. Work with us. Don't work with your people. Just work for us. Don't depend on your people, but definitely depend on us. That mentality has to change, because we're not getting everything that we need. Once we come together as an economic power, then our buying power allows us to control the wholesalers, to control the retailers, to control the distributors. Because now we have a buying block, or we have a blind stock. So we can say, well, hey, 100,000 of us are supporting you. We don't like your service. Either you're going to change the service or you lose our business. That's what economic power gives us. That's what cooperative economics do for us. Kuji Chakalia. Cooperative economics allow us to control the quality of goods that we're receiving. If we don't have cooperative economics, we can't control quality. Why do we control quality? Because when we say that, look, you sold us this stuff, this ain't no good. And since you're selling our stuff, that people's stuff that's no good, we as a people are going to stop purchasing from you. So they're going to have to change the quality of the product or get on out of town. See, we don't realize the power that we have economically. We have a lot of economic power. And not only do we don't realize the economic power we don't know how to use that economic power to change the quality of service that's being offered to our community. See, we get mad at the Chinaman when he comes into our community. He rapes us with the goods that he sells. We get mad at the Arab, but we refuse to come together, to put our dollars together and say, look, to put our minds together and say, look, either you're going to provide viable service to us or you're not going to make any money. We can hurt them worse economically than we can hurt them by bombing their stores, by going and smacking them, by going and breaking out their windows. We can hurt them harder by organizing the distribution of the wealth. We got to start putting sanctions. See, when we operate as a nation, we got to start putting sanctions on certain Arabs. In America, we got to start putting sanctions on certain Chinese people in our community. We got to have foreign policies dealing with outsiders that come in our community that are trying to sell us certain goods. We need to start instilling foreign policies of dealing with them. Then we're not mad about them selling pork in our community. We're not mad about the low-grade foods. Because with that economic power, we can say, hey, you either give us something that's worth something, or you don't get no more money. It's the bottom line. Either you step up or step out, ship up or ship out. We have the power to do that. But as long as we on some individualist type stuff and we trying to compete with one another and say, well, I bought this, I don't want you to know where I bought this from, or all these type of little underground scheming type mentalities where we refuse to come and work together. We want to be these little individual islands. We'll never have the power to dictate or determine what happens within our community. We cannot control our destiny without unification. In order to control our destiny, we have to start unifying economically. Then we'll have the power to direct the affairs within our community. So all that little stuff has to change. To say, well, we want to do our own thing. We don't want to work with you. We don't want to put our money together. All that stuff has to stop. If you want to see the condition of the community change, then you got to come with unity. Break down the word community, you'll find unity. You got to come with unity if you're going to have a community. A lot of people saying, well, look at the condition of our community. They don't realize we don't even have a community. None of us came with no unity. Our community, the black community, does not even exist. The conscious community does not even exist. There is no community because there is no unity. Do you understand the point I'm making? And there's no communication. Because if you break down the word you get communication, community. All those are in line. It's a communication to move you further towards unity. So we got to start communicating with ourselves, communicating with each other with what we're doing with our resources, how we're distributing our resources, and come together and focus that energy and that power to create power for ourselves and our community so we can manifest black power. Black power is not something we want, it's something we manifest through organization and through unifying among one another. So that's the new agenda for economic improvement in our community. Now, we want to stop buying and bringing things in a boatload. Stop buying these little items and start buying larger quantities as a community. Once we do that, we're cutting the costs low. When you cut the prices down, now you have less slavery. You don't have to be a slave for the European. Because why? Because you don't have to pay as much for the things that you need. If you have to pay a lot for the things that you need, then you're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to work more time. And you're going to have to work for he who's printing the money. But if you're able to do a lot with a little, then you're able to have more freedom to govern, control your own destiny, to master yourself as an individual, and to align with a community that is set up for your benefit. If you cannot do that, then that's where the problem comes in at. Because now you got to work 9 to 5 to get stuff that if you could have organized and worked with a community, those items could have been coming to you for almost less than nothing if we were able to work as a group. But if we can't put our money and our resources together, we got to work 9 to 5 for simple things. We got to work 9 to 5 for variety. Now, I wanted to go into that about the variety. Now, when you buy together as a boat, as a group of people, more variety of resources are available to you. Because what you can buy as an individual with all your money is limited. But when you bring a group together who buy bulks, buy in bulk a lot of different items, now you have more variety of items to choose from. So your money goes a lot farther than if you were to go and try to purchase things strictly from a retail level. Your money goes further because now it's a bulk of a lot of things versus you spending a lot on little things. Wait a minute, I'm going to run that back. Now you have a bulk of a lot of things versus you spending very little money. I mean, a lot of money on the little things. You got to make your mind up. That means you don't have the room for variety. So when you work with a community, economically, you can buy a variety of things in bulk. So you have more, your money goes a lot further. And I was talking about this last week. I said that money becomes insignificant when it comes down to having the things that you need. People don't lose that. Money loses its significance when it comes down to having what you really need. And what do I mean by that? You can have a lot of money, but that money might not be enough to buy the variety of things that you need for a higher quality of life. But you got a lot of money, but even all of that money is incapable to buy the things that you need. That's hard for people to imagine. They think you can do anything you want with money. They don't realize the limitations of money because this society pushes money. Every rap artist is talking about, oh, I got all this money. Look at all the money I got. They act like there are no limitations to depending on money. They don't see that. They overlook that. What are the limitations from dealing with money? Okay, with money, you might go out and buy something. You might not have the product knowledge or the research to know exactly what to buy, but you got the money to buy it. You might not have been able to put the time into knowing yourself biologically, mentally, or emotionally, or physically, to know yourself to even buy the things that you really need. Because why don't you have the time to know that? Because you've been working for the European from 9 to 5. You have had no real time. You didn't go to school to study yourself. You went to school to study the white man. So what are you going to go and buy? Your money, with the lack of knowledge, becomes useless because you spend it frivolously. You buy stuff that you come to find out you didn't even need. Ain't that deep? You find out that you bought stuff, and when you got it back at home and you unwrapped it, it was useless to you. Well, that's heavy. That means that money did nothing for you. Whenever you spend some money on something and you got it and find out you didn't need it, that means the money was useless, and that means what you did for the money was a waste of time. That's deep. Whenever you got something that you got at home and figure out, I don't even need that, or that doesn't work, or you know what, it hit you. What is that even for?